Hey, everybody, welcome to the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that I think gets lost in the mix as it relates to public speaking. And that's really all about the difference between introverts and extroverts, and really why introverts most often make the best speakers. Now, I know that is traditionally not the typical accepted train of thought, but I really do believe that this is true, that introverts do make the best speakers for five basic reasons that I want to talk about. But this really is for those of you who either struggle with social anxiety, maybe you feel a little bit more introverted, and a lot of times you feel like, oh, okay, I can never be a great speaker. I can never really speak in a group setting because I'm introverted. This is all for you, okay? Because I just think that introverts make the best speakers out there. And so here are a few reasons why introverts make the best speakers. First off, when someone is introverted, they often pick up on nuanced audience because introverts are naturally attentive. It helps them read the room better and adjust their delivery and their messaging accordingly. So they will catch stuff that extroverts like me just will miss, and we just won't get. They'll be able to get things and read things that other people who are introverted, who are extroverted, won't be able to get. So that's one of the biggest things, is that they are able to see and really feel nuance in the room and subtext and see things that other people aren't getting. So that's the very first thing. They pick up cues that are not obvious, and they're way better at getting those cues and understanding what those cues mean. Second reason introverts, I believe, are better speakers than extroverts sometimes, most often, is that introverts typically are very deep thinkers, which then translates into very well-structured talks. Someone who's introverted typically has a tendency to process thoroughly before speaking, so it leads to more organized and thoughtful presentations. I think that's something that means that the content that they put out during a presentation or during a talk, you know that they've spent a lot of time and effort really organizing it, which is amazing. Because a lot of extroverts, especially someone like me, we typically don't do that. And granted, I want to say that in this podcast, that these are sweeping generalizations, but they're ones that I believe. So are there amazing extroverted speakers? Yes. Are there some bad introverted speakers? Probably. But this is just what my belief is about this. And that was number two. Deep thinking translates into well-structured talks. Number three, this is the one that I think is probably the most important, and this is the one that I think is one of the best things about someone who is introverted, who is a speaker or does a lot of presentations, is that authenticity really resonates way more than showmanship. Okay, so quiet speakers often come across as way more genuine and trustworthy because they're not trying to be performers. So a lot of times you'll have an extrovert go do a speech, and they'll be waving their hands and walking around and connecting, pointing to everyone in the room, and it's a big show. They're like, there's someone on a stage. It's a big show. Someone who's introverted isn't going to do that. They're going to come on, and they may struggle a little bit with what they're saying. They may stammer. They may stutter. But one thing that they'll always be, in my experience, is they'll be authentic. So you can really connect with someone when they're being authentic. It's like when you have somebody who is not there for the show but is there for the message. That's really what you get with an introverted speaker. And I can tell you, there are two people that jump off the page for me in my experience that I coached before. One's named John, one is named Craig. Both of them extremely introverted, extremely shy, both suffered from some levels of social anxiety. And in working with them, really what we did together, and it's their credit, was we just really focused on them being authentic. And I basically was like, look, I don't care how you get the message out. Just let's figure out what the message is, and let's figure out what you want to say, and then just be true to yourself. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to be me. Don't try to be another speaker. Be true to yourself. And I've seen John make huge leaps when he did that, and he worked at it. And really, the biggest thing that he got across when he was speaking was the fact that he was very authentic. and he really meant what he was saying. And same thing with Craig. Craig had the added challenge of being younger and looking younger. So it was very important for him to be as authentic as possible in his speaking so people would have a certain level of belief about him. So I've seen it firsthand. I really do believe most introverts can be amazing speakers, usually way better than extroverts. Sorry, extroverts. But so anyway. And so then the other thing is, so there's two more reasons why introverts often make better speakers. The fourth one is that most people who are introverts are way better at active listening, which when you're able to active listen to somebody or to a group, you create stronger connections. And introverts excel at truly hearing their audience, which helps them to respond more meaningfully to questions and concerns. A lot of times extroverts would just blow by somebody's question, and introverts just don't do that, right? Like they're very good at truly hearing the audience and truly responding in a way that lets the audience know that, hey, I heard you. So that active listening piece is really important. And then the last piece for introverts that I think is really makes them amazing speakers is that there's a certain amount of energy conservation when you are introverted and you are speaking, and that leads to really powerful moments because they know how to be selective with their energy, which means they often deliver their key points with more impact than a traditional extrovert. So an extrovert might come on stage and they're just like, yes, and you got to do this, and then after 10 minutes of that, the extrovert's completely out of breath, where the introvert will pick their spots, and based on their natural inclination to conserve that energy, they'll put their energy out and do it in a way that creates a lot of impact with what they're saying versus what an extrovert does. And honestly, it's happened to me numerous times where I go to give a speech, give an hour-long speech, and flying through the first part of it, and by the time I get to the second 20 minutes, I'm just like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I put all this energy out, and now I'm just like dying. Introverts don't do that. They're really good at being selective with their energy, which is amazing and makes them better speakers. So if you are introverted or you suffer from social anxiety, I feel for you. Public speaking is incredibly challenging, and I just really want to celebrate you for the efforts that you've made. But I want you to know that anyone who tells you that you have to be extroverted or you have to be like the life of the party to be a good speaker, they are 100% full of shit and have no idea what they're talking about. Introverts make the best speakers. They're great at being silent observers and picking up audience cues. They deliver well-structured talks and presentations because their natural inclination is to think deeply about their topic. They're way more authentic because they're not willing or wanting to be a showman or go after showmanship. So they come off as being way more authentic because they are. They're active listeners and they're good at conserving their energy. So there's your thought for the day. Introverts make amazing speakers. If you've ever been an introvert or if you are introverted at all, trust me, this is a positive. This is not a negative. And that's it. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you guys soon. Check out happytospeak.com for all of our latest events and everything else coming up. And talk to you soon.